Hi, this is Ray Gralak from Sirius Imaging. As you may know, I am one of the CCDware authors, having written PEMPro. This is the first in a series of video tutorials for a free new utility, PEMPro Log Viewer, which will allow you to interactively analyze the periodic error and tracking characteristics of your telescope mount using log files from PEMPro, PhD2, and other software applications. It's important to note that for PEMPro Log Viewer to work properly, auto-guiding had to have been turned off while collecting log file data. PEMPro inherently does this, but if you are using another application like PhD2, you will need to turn off auto-guiding. Please consult your application's help file if you don't know how to do that. In this particular video, I will summarize most of the user interface features. First, note that the application is divided into 4 separate sections. You could drag the gray bars to resize these sections if needed. Of course, you can also resize the entire application as well. The first section summarizes the data of the currently loaded log file. As you can see, it contains information about the mount type, its warm period, number of data points, etc. The second section shows a graph of the log file's data. It can be viewed non-overlapped, which shows the entire data set, or overlapped, where data points for each worm cycle wrap around the x-axis, revealing the repetitive shape of the periodic error. To adjust the graph, you can drag each axis. You can also drag a point within the graph with a right mouse press and drag operation. There are nibs on each axis that let you scale an axis. You can also zoom into a region and zoom out like this, or zoom using the mouse scroll wheel if you have one. As you mouse over an overlapped data segment, it will highlight, and its cycle number is displayed. A cursor can be displayed and dragged to show individual segment values. Normally, the entire set of data is used, but you can analyze a specific portion of the data set with the range selection option. The top x-axis can be dragged with the mouse to use like a ruler. If available in the log file, the image scale, worm period, camera angle, and declination are extracted. But you can also interactively change those values if you believe they are wrong, missing from the log file data, or just to experiment. If camera angle is set correctly, the x-axis should represent the right ascension axis, and the y-axis should represent the declination axis. You can interactively adjust drift and camera angle rotation with a pair of sliders. This might be useful for refining camera orientation. For example, you could switch to the declination axis, which should contain almost linear drift. By applying rotation to the data until you see what looks like the most linear graph, you can determine the actual camera angle. The third section shows the frequency spectrum of the data. The y-axis shows the approximate peak-to-peak amplitude in arcseconds. The x-axis is the period of frequency divided by the worm period. For example, if the worm period is 480 seconds, then 2.0 on the graph would represent a period of 240 seconds, which is just 480 divided by 2. So the show time option enables a time axis across the top of the graph. Also, you can use the cursor to show the time at any x-axis point in the graph. The graph is shown this way because tracking errors caused by mechanical gears in a mount can often be identified by the number of times they repeat in each worm cycle. For instance, in this spectrum, the motor box gear repeats 8 times per worm cycle, and we can see the magnitude of this error here. The PEMPRo Log Viewer comes with definitions for a few mounts, but more can be added later. Like with the log data graph, you can adjust the graph by dragging axes, etc. You can also move the annotation box of the cursor if needed, even rotating it. There are a few convenience buttons to quickly set the graph's range: 0 to 5, 0 to 10, 0 to 20, and full. Full range shows the entire spectrum from the FFT data. This drop-down list box allows you to favor frequency resolution or amplitude accuracy. The default is to favor frequency resolution. The last section shows the detected frequencies. The frequencies shown can be filtered by minimum period and minimum amplitude. Each of the columns can be sorted by clicking the column header. Anyway, that wraps up the overview of PEMPRo Log Viewer. If you have any questions, please click the support forum link in the PEMPRo Log Viewer's help menu.